mentioned before, this is going to be a retrospective going on through the month of October where I talk about Tim Burton movies, the ones he's directed in particular. And I already talked about Pee-wee's Big Adventure, so let's go on and talk about one of my favorite comedies of all time, Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice tells the story of a couple that passes away suddenly by going off of a rickety bridge, and they go back to their house and they find out that they're ghosts. But unlike going to heaven or going to hell, they're actually stuck in an afterlife that's kind of mundane, and other than the colors and the backgrounds being extraordinary, it's really just a very mundane existence. There's rules, they got a social worker, they gotta go through like stuff that's in the DMV. It's something you would not expect, you know, passing away and going into. And there's like a business behind being a ghost. So movies like Monsters, Inc. takes a lot of things that works in Beetlejuice. This whole idea that the monsters in our lives really have this mundane existence. The couple notices that a new family moves into their house. They're a yuppie couple. They have a daughter that's played by Winona Ryder that's every goth chick loves. And the couple wants to scare out this family because they feel like they're tearing their house apart. To a certain degree, they kind of are. So instead of going through the whole mundane process of the afterlife, they want a quick fix. So they hire a poltergeist by the name of Beetlejuice. And this is a character that a lot of people love. Interesting fact, this character was originally intended to be played by none other than Sammy Davis Jr., but they settled with Michael Keaton, which the rest is history. And why I find this to be one of my favorite comedies is because I feel like the visual supports the humor and there's a great pacing to it. I never get bored out of any scene I watch in Beetlejuice, and there's a strict punchline to it, and even if there isn't like a strict punchline to it, there's visual humor that just has the joke within the context. Like in the movie, there's a scene where one of the characters named Otho mentions how, in like a really off-the-cuff line, just coming out of nowhere, how it's said that people who commit suicide become civil servants. And in the movie, there's a scene where the couple, the Maitlands, they go over to this DMV and they find that someone died and she committed suicide and now she's a civil servant. So if you watch the movie, you'll notice that little detail. Otherwise, like I mentioned before, and I'll say it again, I love the visual humors. This is the one film outside of Pee-wee's Big Adventure that you actually get to see the style of Tim Burton come to life. This is that sort of style you see in his animated short Vincent go to a fully feature-length film. And Beetlejuice, the character Beetlejuice is so iconic. Everybody knows who Beetlejuice is. You know you can't say his name 3 times. Michael Keaton really owns this role. I would have loved to imagine what Sammy Davis Jr. would have done with it, but I think he may have passed away or something. I don't know what happened for that to not go through, but I gotta say, Michael Keaton really owns this role, and while this isn't the role that really determined whether or not he will go on to do more serious roles, but to me, it works really well. I also have to say that I know I'm making this video in light of the fact that Beetlejuice 2 has been announced and Tim Burton is still interested in it, Michael Keaton's still interested, and even got Winona Ryder involved in it as well. So how that movie turns out, I hope it's great. I hope they don't do what the original plans for Beetlejuice 2 was, which is to make a buddy surf comedy bullcrap like that. I don't know, Kevin Smith was hired to write it, and from the sound of it, it sounds pretty freaking weird. Which is to say this movie's not freaking weird, but compared to that, really weird. Again, Beetlejuice, one of my favorite comedies, one of my favorite Tim Burton movies. Hope you check it out, not just as a Tim Burton fan, but just as a fan of film culture, with all that pretentiousness titles coming about. So again, thank you for watching this video. When we come back, we'll be talking to the film that really shook up Tim Burton's career, because now we're going into a territory where he's going from directing similar tone films to something like a superhero film. And that film, of course, is Batman. So I'll see you later, and take care.